There's now an investigation into a situation that happened at a private school near Buckhead. Several students have tested positive for COVID-19 even though school was out. The state and Fulton County Boards of Health are now looking into this. Joe Hankey is live near the Lovett School. Joe, I guess what they really want to know is when were this group of people together and why?
Well, that's right, Cheryl. School here at the Lovett School, as you mentioned, it's been out. It's been out since March 15th. That's when everything switched to online learning early on during the COVID-19 pandemic. A spokeswoman for the Georgia Department of Public Health tells me, though, state epidemiologists are now investigating what they're considering a cluster of cases. The Lovett School not releasing information on how many students it knows of that recently tested positive for COVID-19. But in a new statement released to 11 Alive this morning, a school spokeswoman wrote, Lovett has been notified by several class of 2020 families that their graduates have tested positive for COVID-19. The statement continues to read, the notifications were made several days after a socially distanced drive-by senior parade occurred. An in-person graduation has been postponed to late July. The school has been made aware of several off-campus social gatherings, but has no information on any private events. Online, the Lovett School describes itself as an independent K-12 school and college preparatory institution for grades 6 through 12. Tuition for the upcoming school year listed at $30,800. A once public post on the social media app TikTok showed two girls, one wearing a Lovett sweatshirt, with the pair holding up positive COVID-19 test results. Appearing to joke about their results, the video's caption read, well, Corona isn't fake. The number of Lovett students testing positive for COVID-19 described by a Georgia Department of Public Health spokeswoman as a cluster. And by email wrote 11 Alive saying DPH and the Fulton County Board of Health were notified by the Lovett School of students recently testing positive for COVID-19. The Fulton County Board of Health is awaiting the test results from the lab and the names of the students from Lovett. We will begin case interviews and contact tracing as soon as we have the necessary information. And the Georgia Department of Public Health and Fulton County Board of Health telling me contact tracing will be key here to see who might have been exposed by any students who have tested positive and could have been at risk for infection. As far as that video that was posted on TikTok, we've reached out to the girl who posted it on the social media app. We're not showing the video at this time as we have not heard back from her, and the video at one time was public but no longer appears to be publicly available inside the app. We'll send it back to you.
Joe, I did see that video, and it was a big group of young people. Thanks for following the story. We'll stay on it. Thanks a lot.